Alright, gym clothes on, you know what that means. I'm doing an NXT review. I haven't watched NXT since probably around February of last year, before the pandemic happened. And I'd watch it every week with AEW. I'd watch like NXT first, then I'd watch AEW. And yeah, I haven't watched it since then. Adam Cole was champion. I don't believe he's champion now. I don't even know who champion is. Yeah, my understanding is the show was moved to Tuesday nights. I'm actually kind of stoked to watch this. I haven't watched it in a long time. I hope it's easy to get back into. So let's see. Again, this isn't going to be like me reviewing the shows every single week type thing. It's just kind of me watching it every once in a while and then giving my thoughts, because I don't have, my schedule is super busy and I don't have time to watch 4 fucking wrestling shows in a week. And then you know what I mean. It's a little too much. I don't have time for it all the time. But you know how it is. So, also, I want to point out that I'm going to be doing a Resident Evil Village First Thoughts video around Friday to Sunday-ish. That's where it should be dropping. And yeah, you know what? Let's get into this review. Remember, star ratings are in the description if you want to know what I thought of like the matches. So, let's get into this. Alright, so the show, it has this really cool cage around the arena, which I thought was really cool, and I really like the design where they mix the fans with the Thunderdome kind of look, and I thought, like, the overall show, it has just an awesome production value to it. It looks just really, really good. And so the show opened with a match from Karrion Kross versus, what's his name, Austin Theory, who I have seen wrestle before on Evolve. Karrion Kross, I have to say, the dude's huge. He's probably like 260, 270. Has this cool-ass entrance with this absolute ultra babe. She's smoking hot, by the way, which I thought was really cool. And the match itself, it was very old school done. Very much the strong, overpowered, good guy, babyface, beating the shit out of the heel. And the heel gets outclassed for the first bit of the match, gets like a round of heat in for about 2 minutes, and then he's ultimately defeated in the end pretty easily. The match probably went like 8 minutes. It wasn't very long or anything like that, but yeah, I actually really liked it for what it was. And yeah, so I actually really liked it. But again, it was like the first match of the evening, and they were already like brawling on the outside of the ring for like a little bit there, and I was just like, it's the first match. Can you not come up with like, it's just the first match of the show. Do we have to go to this again? I complained about this on NXT. I complained about this on SmackDown. It's just like, God. I know it's not like a big deal, but it's just like, it's the first match of the show, and you guys are already resorting to this shit. Anyways, I prefer when the stars come off as stars, and I feel like that's what they did a lot more in like the 90s and 80s and stuff. So they didn't resort to that all the time. Anyways, so the next match was the NXT tag team matches with this MSK team, who I have to just tell people right now, these guys don't have a fucking shot in hell on the main roster. They're not very big, they're quite small, and they're kind of like, they're essentially just cruiserweights. So it sucks to say, but like, yeah, these guys, they won't make it on the main roster. They're not big enough for that. But in NXT, it's fine-ish. They wrestled Breezango, and they had this spot with the ref, which I don't know how I actually feel about that, how the ref was like doing moves and stuff with the wrestlers, and how like he kind of like stole the spotlight of the match, because that's what ended up being the most memorable part. But I also have to say, I do really like Breezango. I find them to be very, very entertaining to watch together. But while this show is also going on, I want to throw this out there right now. I really like William Regal as the GM of NXT. I think he's really good. And I just like the authority managers overall in WWE. I like Sonya Deville. I like Adam Pearce. I think they're really good in their roles, and I find them to be very entertaining to watch. I should say this about the next match, which was Pete Dunne versus Leon Rush. Neither of these two dudes have much of a shot in hell on the main roster too. I'd also say that about them. But Pete Dunne, he's very entertaining to watch. And this match was entertaining because Leon Rush, he was like begging for a match, but like he was like medically not cleared. And then he went and got a match anyways with Pete Dunne. And then he got his ass whooped, which was highly entertaining to watch. But yeah, I don't see much time for either of these dudes on the main roster. So other than that, there ain't much to say. And now we're going to talk about the women's match, which I have to say, both like that one girl, Requell Gonzalez, she's like 6 feet tall. Like, man, she's a tall ass chick. And then Martinez, she came off really cool. She had like the little like Darth Vader like choke there with her entrance, very Sith Lord implemented. The match itself I found very entertaining, but yeah, I would say both these ladies, they do need to stay down in NXT. They're not main roster ready yet. They still have some work to do. I like little things they need to work on, but both girls were really good. Requell Gonzalez retains her championship, which I kind of figured she would. She also, this is a thing I want to like bitch about, is that when she goes for her finishing move, Martinez just like gets out of it, and then she like does a roll up. I miss the days when like the champ would like hit their move, like you just see, like they taunt, they hit the move, the match ends. Instead here we have they taunt, they go for the move, they counter, we go through another like 2-3 minutes, and then they just hit the move anyways. It's like just have them hit the move. It makes them look more dominant when they just hit the move, and those like counters and stuff should be saved for like bigger matches. That's just in my opinion, of course. That's just how I view things. But like I mean, it wasn't like the biggest deal in the world. It's just a little nitpick again. Then we got two just awesome segments. I can't remember their name, and I should have looked it up before I started the video, but Isaiah Swerve Scott, I was a fan of his before this, but now I have to say he's actually main roster bound. This dude actually, he has this group with them. I can't remember what they're called, but they look awesome together. Whatever their name is, there's this just hawk chick with them. That's all I can say about her. And then there's like this other dude who apparently played in the NFL. I don't know who the other dude was. He was just kind of there. I mean, like, I don't know like if those two wrestle or not, or like what their story is. But yeah, I don't know if they're training in the performance center. However, they all look like a group that hangs out and like goes together. So that's awesome. They cut this just awesome promo. And I had to say, like, after I saw that and I watched them, I'm like, yo, these dudes, they can go to the main roster. They have it figured out. They have the charisma. I believe Isaiah Swerve Scott has the personality for it. He has the character. He's ready for the main roster. I haven't seen any of his matches in a while, so maybe I'd have to see his in-ring work. But outside of that, like, he has the look, he has it. He's ready for the main roster. This group's ready for the main roster. They look fucking awesome. It reminded me of when I saw Angel Garza with him and his gimmick, and I was like, that dude's ready for the main roster. He has it figured out. This dude can go to the main roster. He doesn't have to worry about an NXT Championship. He can just go right up. That's just what I saw, and that's what I see in these guys right now. I think they look great. And then follow that up, we also had just a hilarious segment with Cameron Grimes bidding on a house. I'm like, dude, you're on an NXT contract. How the fuck are you bidding $2 million on a house? That's ridiculous. And then he eventually gets outbid by the $1 Million Man, which, again, was just hysterical. Finally, we get to one of my favorite matches, maybe my second favorite match of the evening, was Kyle O'Reilly versus Oney Larkin. And if you're a fan of like MMA-styled matches and stuff like that, where it's just tight grappling, this is the match for you. And this was just a really entertaining match. I really enjoyed this. So main event time, we have Kushida versus this I want to say Thiago Santos. Oh, what the fuck's his name again? I just know his like last name is Santos. There's so many people with these names, Santos. Anyways, I have to say the match itself, they blew through the first two falls, but like the second fall came off really cool, and they were about to go to commercial break, and they're like, no, the announcers are like yelling, stop the camp trucks, don't go to break yet, and then they didn't go to break yet, which was cool. So, and then eventually gets the submission, and then so that happened in like the span of like, I don't know, 6 or 7 minutes. Then the match continued on to the last fall, and that's when things got really good. And They had like a lot of really good work with like the Kushida working over his arm, and then it led to this just awesome spot where he countered off the top rope into the hoverboard lock, which ultimately led to this sick roll-up win for Kushida. And yeah, I thought that was just a really cool, fun main event. And normally, it was a really good match. That's all I have really to say about it. So we'll get into my least favorite part of the show, and then we'll wrap things up with my overall thoughts. So, my least favorite part of the show, I mean, I would like to say like maybe Wade Barrett's announcing I didn't find like all that great. Like it was good, maybe it was some of the announcing, or like some of the selling in the matches, like the Leon Ruff match and the women's match, I didn't find all that good. But those are just like small nitpicks that like obviously it's developmental and they can work on all that stuff. So yeah, outside of that stuff, I'd say we'll just go to like my favorite part, because that's really it. My favorite part of the show was probably the main event. The main event I thought was really good, and I thought it was a lot of fun. And I had a lot to choose from, like the awesome segments and awesome matches throughout the night, and so it was really hard to choose. But I have to go with the main event. It really exceeded my expectations. So we'll get into my overall opinions. Again, this is a really good show. NXT is it's the show for people like me who are like into like sports and like just overall stuff like that, and like just be athletic and having a really fun lifestyle, which these guys, they come off as stars and they come off really well in these shows. So that I have to say, it's not like Raw where they have to deal with like the casual fans. They kind of have to have a much wider range of people they have to appeal to than they do on NXT. And it's not like, and NXT is also exceeding what AEW does with them having to kind of appeal to the hardcores, yet also appeal to the masses. So the AEW is also in kind of a tough spot there. But NXT, it can do both. I actually really like that, and how well their show is. So yeah, I highly recommend checking out the show. I give it a big thumbs up. I probably will watch next week's show too, because I really enjoyed this. So anyways, let me know what you guys thought of the show. Peace, guys. Have a good day.